Can't wake up the baby. Let's get into it. Soul Not for Sale podcast. We got this reaction to the Madison Square Garden. I had to go over this. I know it's a little bit past, but I had to go over this really quick. The reaction to the Madison Square Garden rally that Trump threw, the fact that they are comparing it to a Nazi rally is so crazy. It's so crazy. MSNBC, they deserve to be canceled in any way that you've seen any random comedian. It's so ridiculous. Listen to this. I'm going to play a bunch of clips, a bunch of absolute ridiculousness. Here we go.
But that jamboree happening right now, you see it there on your screen, in that place is particularly chilling because in 1939, more than 20,000 supporters of a different fascist leader, Adolf Hitler, packed the garden for a so-called pro-America rally, a rally where speakers voiced anti-Semitic rhetoric from a stage draped with Nazi banners. When a Jewish protester rushed the stage, the Associated Press reported, quote, instantly, a dozen or more stormtroopers set upon him, knocking him down and beating him as he held his head in his arms. Most of his clothing was torn from his body. Later, he was booked for disorderly conduct. Now, against that backdrop of history, Donald Trump, the man who has threatened to use the military against opponents he calls enemies from within, who has threatened to use the troops to quell what he says are lawless cities, and to use those troops to carry out mass deportations of immigrants, is once again turning Madison Square Garden into a staging ground for extremism.
This is so crazy. They're just like, you know what? A really bad thing happened way, way back. But here's another thing that actually happened at this same place. I did not know this. Check this out.
You've probably heard that the latest new attack against Trump is the fact that he had a, honestly, wildly successful rally at Madison Square Garden. And the reason people on the left side of the aisle are upset about this is because they say that, oh, there was a Nazi rally that took place back in the 1930s. Okay, cool. You know what? I'll give you that one. But consider this. That is also the same venue, Madison Square Garden, where in 1976, 1980, and 1992, that site held and hosted the Democratic National Convention. So there wasn't a problem with it back then when y'all were using it for your own political ends. But now that Donald Trump is able to rally almost 20,000 people in Madison Square Garden, in literally the bluest area, one of the bluest areas of the country, you actually have a problem with it in sites like MSNBC want to say that Donald Trump is calling back to the days when there was a Hitler rally at the same location. Spoiler alert, also, this wasn't even the same building that rally took place in 1930s. But of course, the left is counting on you to not know that because the left is only preying on the low information, low IQ, uninformed, misinformed, and propaganda susceptible individuals who are planning on going to the polls in November. So if you want to actually stick it to them, share this video and share the actual truth and the actual facts while you still have time.
Man, you know what? I have to say, I'm actually upset with Trump. Okay. Now that I know that they had their national convention there and he did it in the same place. I mean, he is just like Joe Biden or Kamala Harris now, right? That's how that works, right? So he's directly like them. And they're saying he's like Hitler. Well, it all makes sense now, doesn't it? Okay. Now the past 4 years makes Oh my gosh, absolutely ridiculous. So just showing that alone is enough. The fact that they actually had the cojones to say that this was hearkening back to a time when the Nazis threw their rally, knowing full well that they were holding their own rallies there. And I wonder why they were doing that. Maybe we should question that a little bit. Oh my gosh. You know what's going to happen next? Someone's just going to be like, tear the whole thing down. Some person with blue hair and spacers that are this big is going to be like, tear down Madison Square Garden, rename it first, and then tear the whole thing down because a bad thing happened there. That's exactly what's going to happen next. Here's another bad thing for you. Hillary Clinton speaking on this whole thing.
Now, one other thing that you'll see next week, Caitlin, is Trump actually reenacting the Madison Square Garden rally in 1939. I write about this in my book. President Franklin Roosevelt was appalled that neo-Nazis, fascists in America were lining up to essentially pledge their support for the kind of government that they were seeing in Germany. So I don't think we can ignore it. Now, one other thing that you'll see.
Hillary Clinton's like, I know, I was there. And we were all very happy with that rally, but we're not happy with Donald Trump's rally. You know what's really funny about this? Okay, put on your tinfoil Speedos for me real quick, okay? Is that you're seeing the first clip I showed you, MSNBC. The second clip I'm showing you is Hillary Clinton on CNN. And it's really interesting as we go, because we're going to go on to Tim Walz as well. You're seeing this aligning of the mainstream media and certain political operatives. That's what I'm going to call someone like Hillary. Okay. Usually it's deemed elite, but for this, I'm going to call her a political operative. You notice how they're all aligned? Hillary's not on MSNBC. So MSNBC and Hillary at the same time had the same talking point. It's very interesting. And then the person who's currently running for vice president, Tim Walz, he also has the same talking point. You see how that works? I'm really starting to, it's not that I'm starting to see it, but I'm really starting to want to just call them all the same thing. Like, I don't think of them as, I don't even want to say so-called journalists anymore. They're operatives. They're agents. They are. This is not, you just have to watch it all play out. They're agents. That's exactly what they are. And when they see when something is going against the narrative, they all attack at the same time because they're all agents. They do it behind the scenes. They do it in politics, in front facing. They're all agents. I know it sounds, I sound like a crazy person right now. I'm like, they're agents, man, but they really are. Like, straight up. What you're seeing right here, this is a media operative and a political operative. That's it. That's exactly what these people are. That's why she's 89,000 years old and she's still like, why is she even on this program? Why would you, if you were a well-to-do journalist, why would you want to talk to Hillary Clinton about this? Wouldn't you just want to dig deep and figure out the whole story? Why would you be like, I gotta hear what Hillary has to say? And Hillary's like, I wrote it in my book? What? What are you talking about? I don't know, man. I feel like I have those glasses on from They Live. And then another political operative. I mean, this guy, listen, I'm not allegedly. All I know is that MLK got shot. And this guy used to stand next to MLK. And if he was really about that life like MLK was, I'm just saying, nothing happened to him. Listen, I've lived in the streets. I've done street. I've been in the streets. Okay? If you're rolling with somebody and they go down for something, you're probably going to go down too. And if you haven't gone down too, it's because you're some kind of informant. I'm just saying.
Trump himself said last night that some of the black men groups that I've been debating about why they can't be with Trump, he said, I could be laying out in the beach with my white skin getting tanned. I mean, this is Donald Trump's mouth. Right. Saying this. So I said to those on the fence, this is not a real racial signal. My pretty, white, beautiful, white skin. Yeah. Donald Trump said this last night at his homecoming.
The greatest resorts in the world. I could have been extremely happy. I could have had those beautiful waves smack me in the face. I could have had the beautiful suntan. This white skin could have been tan and beautiful.
So when people said that this was like reminiscent of the supremacist rally in 1939, the Nazis, I think that it lived up to that.
Then on top of that, they had another person talk about it. this person. So they made sure in this first clip that I showed you, because this is a black guy talking. I don't know if you realize that. This is a black guy talking. And then in their next clip, they make sure to have a black guy talking. And then they have Hillary Clinton, who's a woman. You know what I mean? Like, this is all, it's just getting gross. It's getting really gross to me how blatant this whole thing is. It's just like in 1939, there was a Nazi rally and Trump's having a rally. It's like, you might as well just, Trump had a rally in a field, and back in the 1400s, there were Native Americans who were slaughtered on that field, and Donald Trump is hearkening back. Donald Trump had his rally in a field, and way back, millions of years ago, a meteor wiped out all the dinosaurs, and Donald Trump is hearkening back to slaughtering dinosaurs. You don't really want to support a man like that, do you? I mean, there used to be slaves here, and now Donald Trump, there used to be slaves in America, and now Donald Trump lives in America. I mean, does it really have to be much clearer than that? It's absolutely ridiculous. And it was a great rally, I have to say. All races, colors, and creeds. Tony Hinchcliffe messed it up a little bit, but it was still a great rally. Bill Maher pushing to the other side. He's not going along with the media. Listen to this.
Trump had a big rally at Madison Square Garden, and then MSNBC called him a Nazi because Madison Square Garden, they did have a German 1939 sympathetic rally, and nothing's happened at the garden since. It's just Nazi rally. It's so stupid.
Donald Trump has a rally at Madison Square Garden, the same place where the Rolling Stones performed. Donald Trump now thinks he's a rock star. Do you really want a rock star running your country? They could have done that. It's the same type of dumbness. It's the same. It's so crazy. And now, again, we have Tim Walz. We have Tim Walz saying the same thing.
You said
Here, listen to this.
You said over the weekend, referring to it, there's a direct parallel to a big rally that happened in the mid-1930s at Madison Square Garden.
Well, look,
you were comparing that rally to a Nazi rally?
Look, I'm comparing it to the hate that came out of this, and I think they confirmed that.
You stand by that comparison, though, to a Nazi rally?
Look, the rally, you saw it for yourself. I'll let the American public make the decision of what they saw.
What about you, though?
So I know what I saw, and I'll just leave it at that.
You said over the weekend.
Oh my God, this guy's the worst. Listen. I don't respect MSNBC or Hillary or CNN for trying to link that to a Nazi rally because there's nothing but Americans in there. So it's like, what are you really trying to say about these people? I don't respect it at all. But at least if you're gonna, at least come out and just say it. You know? Just be like, yeah, I compared it to a Nazi. Yeah, I did. I did actually. And I think it's the same thing. You know? If you're gonna stand on it, stand on it. This guy's like, there was a rally there, and I think the American public can see it, and I mean there was hate there, and I'll let them decide. What are you talking about? This is ridiculous. Even Kamala Harris has similar things to say about it.
Some people who watched that made comparisons between a rally that happened at Madison Square Garden in 1939 with neo-Nazis or Nazis back then. Do you see those comparisons? And can you also expand on what he said and what you said yesterday about Puerto Rico?
Donald Trump this is not new about him, by the way. What he did last night is not a discovery.
Some people who watched that.
The Illuminati must be so pissed off. If I was the Illuminati, there must be a circular table of 13 lizard people representing 13 families that are just like, why isn't The Rock the one running? I thought we owned The Rock. Gentlemen, put down that person for a second. Don't we own The Rock? Why do we have Kamala Harris and Tim Walz? I thought we're NWO, New World Order. I mean, it's 2024. New World Order should have happened 6 years ago. What's going on, guys? They're like, I don't know. One of the lizard people's like, oh man, do you remember when Willie Brown came and we like had that wild night with Willie Brown? Yeah, well, I don't remember, but well, she was there and, We made some promises. That's all I can say. We made a lot of promises. We got really drunk. We made a lot of promises, and we promised her that she could run for president. All the lizard people are like, that damn Willie Brown. He got me so drunk. He does that every time. You know what? We're sacrificing him next, okay? Can we all agree on that at least? Illuminati must be so angry. I'd be so... If I ran the whole world from BlackRock all the way down, and I can't get someone better than Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, I'm pissed. I'm pissed. All this time, I'm a lizard person. I can't go out in public. I got to put a skin suit on. And I can't get someone better than Kamala Harris? You know how angry I'd be? I've been running the world. I've been running the world since before the Freemasons were formed. You know? I got all these connections in the Vatican and banking and this and that. And I can't, what? And this is who I get? I'd be so mad. So many people getting sacrificed. That's it. Everybody's getting sacrificed. You bring me Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, MSNBC comparing it to a Nazi rally, I'd be like, what's going on? I thought they were supposed to shoot him. There was for sure a lizard person like, I don't understand. You guys were supposed to shoot him. You didn't shoot him? We got this kid. Hold on. You got to... Hold. Don't you have an army? Don't you have some kind of Manchurian soldier? Well, we had this kid. He was like 21. He was 21. His glasses weren't on straight. Oh. These lizard people are pissed. They're like, huh, are you for real? And then Trump turned his head. You what? And you didn't shoot again? No. The snipers took him out. So you had snipers. So snipers exist. But you got the kid? Yeah. Well, where's the kid? We ate him last week. Remember what we brought by? Oh, that kid. That kid was delicious. Yeah. Oh, man, that's enough of that bit. Tinfoil. That was a tinfoil Speedo talk. I don't really feel that way. I'm a comedian. That's why I put the comedian tag on everything. I'm not a journalist. I'm a comedian. I'm just kidding around here. Those are just jokes. YouTube, those are just jokes. Okay? To any lizards up top at YouTube, just kidding around. You know, got to make light of situations, right? But to call this whole thing a Nazi rally is absolutely ridiculous. I can't. And the thing is, I was about to say I can't believe it, but I can. They keep on comparing him to these figures all the time. But the blatant, like, such a loose connection. They're just like, he was in the same building where there was Nazis at one point. And then you find out it's not even the same building. It's like, what are you guys doing? And then Hillary Clinton's like, I wrote it in my book, actually. It's like, what's going on? What's happening? What's happening, guys? What's happening? And that's another thing. Who's fallen for this? Who's sitting around going, I didn't know 1939. Oh, well, I'll be diggity darn damned. What, 1939? They were in there and now Trump's in there? Oh, I see what game he's playing. Who's doing that? Whoever you are, contact me. I want to interview you for 3 hours. Who's falling for this? Who's falling for this? This is crazy. Who's at home right now like, Madison Square Garden? you know what used to happen there, right? What, Dave Chappelle performing? What are you talking about? Are you talking about Joe Rogan performing? What do you, Kill Tony? What do you talk, what happened at Madison Square Garden? Like what? Bums urinating outside of Madison Square? What's the thing? Oh, the Nazis in 1939. Oh my God. It's ridiculous, man. I just had to get that out, guys. Not everything can be about Joe Rogan, guys, okay? Okay? Sometimes I need to not talk about Joe Rogan, all right? There's other things going on, okay? No, I'm kidding. We'll get right back to the regular scheduled programming, I promise. I just wanted to bang this video out real quick for you guys. Let me know what you think about all this. I really want to get to a point where I can hear what regular people think about all this, the actual citizens, because when you hear the Jordan Peters and all these, when you hear all these media voices, it's like, it's not real. You know what I mean? And some of those people are agents as well, even if they seem like they're on our side. Yeah, I really want to know what actual people think. That's why I'm always in the comments and talking and stuff. But yeah, what do you guys think of this? What comes to mind for you when you see the mainstream media try to do something like this? Like, what actually comes up in your mind? A lot of times we shoo it away and we say, oh, that's dumb. I see through what they're... But what actually comes up in terms of like feelings and thoughts when you see them try to do this? Like those clips that I just played. Al Sharpton just with the gobbledygook. Hillary Clinton with the clear lying. I wrote it in my book. You didn't write a book. You didn't write a book, okay? Somebody gave you a thing, you put your name on it. You didn't write a book, obviously. And that was the thing she put in her book. In 1939, it used to happen in Madison Square Garden, and Trump used to... That's what you're putting in your book? Hey, get a life. Okay. I'm getting pissed. But let me know what comes to mind when you guys hear stuff like that. Anyways, guys, like, subscribe, turn on the notifications. It helps the channel tremendously. And other than that, I'm out.